Kolbrin Bible, Book 4, Sons of Fire, Chapter 5, Laws of Amos, SOF 5:1. These are the decrees of Amos, which he made so that justice should prevail in the land of his people, that wickedness and wrongdoing should be destroyed, and the strong prevented from oppressing the weak. Amos said, in the days that are yet to come, and for all future, let these decrees remain as a memorial. SOF 5:2. When they are used in judgment, let the judges have wisdom and give attention to the words that are written. Let every judge seek to root out the wicked and evildoers from the land, and promote the welfare of the people. If he seek truth and justice among these words, when they are before him, let him remember that no written words can serve him fully. Truth and justice are but dimly reflected in the writings and laws of man, and must be made clearer by the light of righteousness within his own heart. SOF 5:3. The seats of judgment are to be raised above all small thoughts and unworthy aims. If petty-minded men are permitted to argue over the form of sentences, or pick out particular words for attention, then there will be no end to pettiness. Let no deduction or interpretation be made from the decrees which alters them. SOF 5:4. Judge every man with the scales weighed in his favor. Do not be hasty in rendering a decision. Time will make it more just. Be patient and calm in speech, whatever the provocation. The impatient and bad-tempered judge is an unworthy judge who sits astride an untamed horse. SOF 5:5. The words of a judge must be shaped to fit the ears of his listeners. They must be spoken at the right time and in the right manner. His speech should not be too long or too short, and every word should be well chosen. SOF 5:6. The frailties of men accompanying judges to their seats. Therefore, no judge shall sit in judgment alone. Where no punishment is provided by decree, then the judges shall fix the punishment according to past judgments. Where the words of a decree refer to men, then women shall be treated in the same manner, unless it be otherwise stated elsewhere. A child is one whose body has not reached manhood or womanhood. SOF 5:7. When two persons stand before a judge, he should look upon them as though both were likely to be in the wrong, and when they have gone, as though both may have been in the right. The motives of men are many and strange, and even though they bow to the judgment, the dispute between them may not be settled with justice. SOF 5:8. When a rich man and a poor man come before a judge for a decision between them, he cannot say in his heart, "How can I say the poor man is wrong and the rich man is right, and add to the misery of the poor man?" Neither can he say in his heart, "How can I say the poor man is right and the rich man is wrong, when the rich man is powerful and I may be delivered into his hands?" SOF 5:9. If there is a dispute between men, the judges shall not let one sit and the other stand, or be patient with one and impatient with the other. Both may sit or both may stand, and unless one be afflicted, they shall at all times be equal before the judges. SOF 5:10. A judge shall never say anything that will indicate a way to win his favor or to obtain a favorable decision. If all men walked in righteousness, there would be no need of judges to punish the wicked. Therefore, righteousness is more desirable than the laws of men. If all men walked in the light of truth, there would be no need of judges to settle disputes between them. But as men see only a pale reflection of truth, and that distorted by their own understanding of it, there are times when two men are in dispute, and each believes truly that he is right. It is then that they come before the judges, believing them able to see truth more clearly. Let the judges be able to see truth better than any who come before them. SOF 5:11. When a man comes before the judges having his life or freedom at stake, or the freedom of one of his family, then the judges shall first hear reasons why they should consider him innocent or in the right, and not why they should consider him guilty or in the wrong. SOF 512. Every man who comes before the pillars of the judgment place to bear witness shall be given a drink from the cup of Marat, and shall swear the judgment oath before the shrine and fire. Every man shall be allowed 2 months to discover those who speak for him, and if he asks for another 2 months with reason, it shall not be denied him. SOF 513. These are the decrees of Amos for the children of light. SOF 514. It is decreed that no man shall worship in the temple of any god or stand in homage before any image or idol. No god shall be joined with the Supreme Spirit in worship, and the whole of his devotion and worship shall be given to the Supreme Spirit. SOF 515. It is decreed that no man shall swear an oath in the name of the Supreme Spirit, or in any other name, which shall bind him to do anything against the scriptures of the Supreme Spirit. Neither shall he swear an oath which will incline his loyalties and obligations away from those who walk in their light. But his kings and governors must be served in loyalty and obligation together with duty or declared principles. To swear to serve them well or be faithful to a trust or an obligation is not denied him. The only solemn oath binding upon a man shall be that sworn on his immortal soul, for to swear in the name of the Supreme Spirit is forbidden. SOF 516. It is decreed that no man shall sell or barter spiritual knowledge of the great path of the true way. He shall not come into a sacred place or enter into prayer while drunk. Neither shall he do these things when unwashed, unless he be a wayfarer or one who has come from a distant place on the same day. If water is unavailable to purify himself, clean sand is not to be despised. SOF 517. It is decreed that all those who truly follow the great path of the true way, and those who are of the brotherhood of men, who serve the Supreme Spirit, shall be called the children of light. If any among them shall turn from the children of light through fear of others, then he is unworthy and shall be cast out. He shall not be numbered among them here or in heaven, where there is a special place for the children of light. But those who remain loyal to the children of light, even though they have to flee to strange places, if they continue to struggle, there is no wrong in them. SOF 518. It is decreed that if a man hear anything about an evil deed, or know something about it and fail to disclose the knowledge before a judge or to the judge's servant, he shall not go unpunished. SOF 519. It is decreed that if any man will not bear witness to murder, to theft, or to adultery, he shall not go unpunished. If he bear false witness, according to his own understanding, before the flame and shrine, if it be grievous, he shall lose his tongue. SOF 520. It is decreed that if any man make a false accusation of adultery against his wife, without just cause and without her acting indiscreetly, he shall receive 70 lashes. SOF 521. If any man slay another, he shall die, unless it be done in his own defense, or in defense of his house and family. He shall not die if he who is slain be an adulterer or a seducer of one within the household of the slayer. SOF 522. It is decreed that if any man slay another in anger during an argument or dispute, and if the fight be fair and equal, then he shall be exiled. But if any man slay another by laying in wait, or by guile, or by coming behind him, he shall not live. SOF 523. It is decreed that revengers of blood shall be appointed by the judges, and no man shall revenge another of his own blood, unless he be appointed by the judges. SOF 524. It is decreed that if a man slay another without intent to slay, without hatred or malice, then he shall not die for the slaying. SOF 525. It is decreed that no man shall be put to death by the word of one witness. If a wife cause the death of her husband through neglect or malice, she shall not live. The law of bloodshedding is a freeman for a freeman, a slave for a slave, and a woman for a woman. The free can be enslaved to repay a death. SOF 526. It is decreed that when a man must die because of his deed, it shall be by the sword, by drowning, or by entombment. A woman shall be smothered, or entombed, or drowned. SOF 527. It is decreed that if a man strike his father or his mother, or curse them, he shall be seized and sold into slavery, and the money received shall be given to his father and his brothers. But if a man stand between his father and his mother, and his sister, because he fears for their lives, then he shall not be punished. In this case, the matter shall not fail to come before the judges. For if the father be a man of such violence, how can he claim to be numbered among the children of light? SOF 528. It is decreed that if a man seize upon another to sell him into captivity, he who seizes shall die. If a man smite another so that he lose an eye or a tooth, or suffer any wound, and this without provocation, then he who committed the wrong shall make it good in kind, according to the judgment. SOF 529. It is decreed that if the beast of any man injure another man within its own place of confinement, then there shall be no blame upon the owner of the beast. But if the beast be outside its place of confinement and loose, he who owns the beast shall make restitution in kind. If the beast has been savage in times past, and this made known to he who owns it, and it strays beyond the limits of its enclosure to harm a man, then who owns it shall make restitution to threefold the damage. The beast shall also be slain, but the carcass shall belong to he who owned the beast. SOF 530. It is decreed that if a beast stray beyond the limits of its confines, and being savage to the knowledge of he who owns it, if it cause the death of any man, then he who owns it shall die. But if it be so decreed by the judges, his life may be ransomed. SOF 531. It is decreed that if a man shall cause death or injury to the beast of any man, and the beast be within its proper place of confinement, or upon the lands of its owner, then he who caused the death or injury shall make restitution to threefold its value. If the beast be outside the lands of he who owns it, and be the cause of no danger or damage, then he who caused its death shall make restitution to its value. If it was seeming that the beast would be the cause of danger or much damage, then providing there was no choice but to slay it, there shall be no restitution, but the carcass shall be returned to the owner. SOF 532. It is decreed that if the beast of any man cause the death of another man's beast, then the beast causing death shall be sold, and the money received divided between the owners. But if the beast causing the death was known to be savage, and its owner informed, then he shall make restitution in full to the value of the dead beast, but the carcass shall be his. SOF 533. It is decreed that if a man shall cause anything growing within the pastures of another or upon his cultivated land to be damaged by a negligent or purposeful deed, then he shall make restitution twofold its value. If a man find the beast of another man going astray, he shall not pass it unheeded, but shall provide for its return to its owner. Having done this, he shall not lose or go unrewarded, but if the owner of the beast be a poor man, then bear with him. SOF 534. It is decreed that if a man set off a fire, he shall make restitution for whatever it consumes, to a like value in kind. But if he be careless or seek to hide his deed, then he shall make restitution twofold. If a thing be scorched, or there is a blackening of wood or stone, the amount to be paid for restitution shall be agreed by the judges. If the fire was caused by accident, then he who caused it shall make restitution to half the value of whatever it consumes. The fire a man handles is like the arrow he shoots, for the bowman is liable no matter how far his arrow flies. SOF 535. It is decreed that if a man steal any beast or fowl and dispose of it so that it is not recovered, he shall make restitution of threefold its value, and shall not go unpunished. But if the beast or fowl be recovered and restored, then he who stole it shall pay its value, and shall not go unpunished. SOF 536. It is decreed that if a man give anything into the keeping of another, and that thing be of gold or other metal, or of some other nature, and it be stolen, then the thief, if caught, shall pay twice its value, and the money shall be divided equally between he who owns it and he who held it. If the thing is not restored to its owner, then the thief, if caught, shall pay its value threefold, and one part shall go to he who held it, and 2 parts to he who owned it. The thief shall not go unpunished. SOF 537. It is decreed that if the thief is not found, then he who held the thing in safekeeping shall be brought before the judges and questioned about his integrity. If he took the thing of his own use, he shall restore its value twofold, and shall not go unpunished. If he dealt with it carelessly, then he shall make restitution to its value. But if he was not careless, he shall not be called upon to do so. But if he were paid for the safekeeping of the thing, then he shall restore its value. SOF 538. It is decreed that if a man give a beast or fowl into the safekeeping of another, and it be stolen or injured and die, then if he in whose keeping it was be found careless in its keeping, he shall make restitution of its value. If he be not found careless, then he shall not be called upon to make restitution. If it be stolen from him, and he be paid for its safekeeping, then he shall make restitution of its value. If the thief be found, he shall make restitution to threefold its value, and shall not go unpunished. SOF 539. It is decreed that to take from a child, or from a man who is both deaf and dumb, or from a blind man, or from an idiot, is stealing, and shall be punished as theft. SOF 540. It is decreed that if a man steal the boat of another, or push it into the water so that it goes away, or loose any rope that holds it so that it is lost, he shall restore its value twofold, and shall not go unpunished. SOF 541. It is decreed that if any man steal from a house on fire, or from a house abandoned by flood, he shall become enslaved to the owner. SOF 542. It is decreed that if a man steal from a temple or holy place, he shall be whipped and sold into slavery, and his price given to the temple or holy place. SOF 543. It is decreed that for all manner of disputes regarding beast or anything without life, whether it be lost or not, where different men make claim to own it, the dispute shall be decided by the judges. He whom the judges decide to be wrong shall pay its value to he who was the true owner. If he who is wrong has been malicious or avaricious, then he shall not go unpunished. SOF 544. It is decreed that if a man borrow a beast or anything without life, the owner not being with it, and it be lost or damaged or injured or die, then he who borrowed it shall make good its value. If a man find a thing that was lost and keep it, or he withhold from another that which is rightly his, then he shall restore it and make payment of its value in kind. If he swear falsely about these things, then he shall make restitution to twofold its value. If the thing be not restored, he shall also restore its value. SOF 545. It is decreed that if a man make a false report regarding another, so that he be harmed in substance, then he who did the harming shall make restitution of twofold the amount of damage done, according to the decision of the judges. If he knew not that the report was false, then the judges shall judge him according to his dealings in the matter. If it be not done carelessly and with bad intent, then he shall make a smaller payment, and shall go to the man he wronged and make amends with words. It is an obligation on every man hearing a report to discover its truth before letting go. Carelessness with words should not go unpunished. SOF 5:46. It is decreed that if any man bear false witness against another, and he be not otherwise punished, or to a lesser extent, then he shall bear upon himself the punishment he would have brought down upon the other, and shall also make payment as the judge's decree. SOF 5:47. It is decreed that if a man take a bribe to turn a judgment, then he and the man who gave it shall make restitution twofold to he who was wronged, and neither shall go unpunished. SOF 5:48. It is decreed that no man who sits in judgment in any place shall take a gift or benefit from any man because of his position. If any man seeking a decision shall give a gift or benefit to another to speak words in his favor, or shall forbear to do anything that words may be turned, he shall not go unpunished. SOF 5:49. It is decreed that if a man take advantage of the ignorance of another, or gain advantage from his dealings with an idiot, he shall make threefold restitution. If a man deceive another to his loss, or take another from him by violence or threats, he shall make threefold restitution. SOF 5:50. It is decreed that if a man declare a falsehood to the loss of another, the loss shall be made good in kind, twice its value. If a man deceive another who has entrusted him with goods, he shall make twofold restitution. If a man deliver a beast or thing without life, making payment to another who deals with them, if the one who deals with them or carries them loses them or fails to deliver, he shall make restitution of their value. If he be found careless in his dealings by the judges, he shall make restitution to twice their value. But if he be waylaid or struck by powers above man, he shall not make payment. SOF 5:51. It is decreed that if a scribe alter a record or make a false writing, he shall be punished with 30 lashes. If a man suffer loss because of the scribe, the loss shall be made good by twice its value. He who does wrong or causes any loss, be it done with purpose or without purpose, and seeks to blame another who is innocent, shall bear the guilt of his deed. He shall not go unpunished for his deceit, and shall make payment to the man he sought to blame. SOF 5:52. It is decreed that if a man have a maidservant or slave, and he seek to give her to his son in marriage, he shall deal with her as a daughter. If he smite a manservant or a maidservant, so that they lose blood or cannot move about, or if they suffer pain for 3 days, he shall be brought before the judges, and they shall decide upon his dealings, and bring justice to the one injured. It shall be within the power of the judges to free a slave from an unworthy master, and place him with another, either as a slave or a freeman. SOF 5:53. It is decreed that if a master die and all those of his blood be absent, his servant or slave shall send for them without delay. If the servant or slave steal anything with life or without life from the dead man, he shall be whipped. If a servant, he shall be made a slave. If one who is of the same blood as the dead man steal, he shall be denied his inheritance. If he would not have inherited, he shall make twofold restitution. SOF 5:54. It is decreed that a master shall not allow his servant or slave to remain unmarried if they wish to marry. No man or woman having a child above the age of marriage should forbid a marriage because of their selfishness. It is their duty to see that their child is not left without children. The duty of a child towards father and mother is great, but the duty to marry is greater. If a man have a slave who serves him loyally and is righteous, he should set him free to serve as a servant. Slave keeping is not forbidden, but it is not goodness. The truly righteous man sustains the poor by finding work for their hands. When a land is divided into large portions, worked by lowly men and slaves, it is in a weak condition and ripe for the plucking. It is a truth that if men are so oppressed with toil and servitude, they lose the manliness which would make them rise against their oppressors. They will not have the stomach to withstand those who invade the land, but whether the land remains at peace or is invaded, it is no longer great. SOF 5:55. It is decreed that the inheritance of a man shall not go to his sons alone, for the daughters are not to be denied their portion. If he have no sons, it shall pass to his wives and daughters. If he have no wife or daughter, it shall pass to his brothers. If he have no brother, it shall pass to his sisters. If he have no sister, it shall pass to his father's brothers. If his father have no brother, it shall pass to the next nearest to him in blood, but not to a woman. SOF 556. It is decreed that if a son or daughter be adopted, they shall be as though they were of the same blood as he who adopted them. Those who stand together in blood shall not be given their portion by decree, for a man knows those of his own blood best. The portions a man declares shall be fair when all his reasons are known. If it be not thought fair, the judges can decide, but they must remember that a man knows those of his blood best. SOF 557. It is decreed that no woman having an inheritance shall marry a man who is not of the children of light. If she does so, her possession shall not go with her. A man should not forget the portion for his father and mother. SOF 558. It is decreed that if a man who bears witness to an inheritance, and its portion shall change it so that a man suffer a loss, then he shall make twofold retribution, and not go unpunished. If he who bears witness fear that he who died made an error and seek to adjust it, there shall be no blame if he deal justly. SOF 559. It is decreed that if a man die without wife or children, his inheritance shall go to his mother and father, and when they die, to his brothers and sisters. If he have wives but no children, the inheritance shall be theirs. But if one die while his mother and father live, her portion shall go to them. SOF 560. It is decreed that no man shall be denied his portion, if he be worthy and righteous, and not an idiot. A man's inheritance should be shared out fairly among all of his blood. SOF 561. It is decreed that if a wife die and have an inheritance, the portion of her husband shall be half, and the other half she may leave to her mother or father, or to her brothers and sisters. But if she have children, then the other half shall be theirs. SOF 562. It is decreed that if a man die and have wife or children, they shall not be put out of their habitation. If a wife remarry, and there are others of her husband's blood within the habitation who are not children, she shall not remain there. SOF 563. It is decreed that the wives of a man who has died shall be able to marry again after 1 year, and no restraint shall be placed upon them against remarriage. SOF 564. It is decreed that no man shall cause his daughter or any other woman to remain a maiden under oath. Strife between the children of the same father to the same mother is worse than bloodshed. These things are the obligations of a father towards her son: to teach him a craft, to teach him to defend himself and his wife and children, to teach him the wisdom of the sacred books, and to find him a wife. These things are the obligations of a mother towards her daughter: to teach her housewifery and the care of children, to teach her the craft of clothes, and to teach her the womanly virtues, according to the sacred books. A father should never show favor to one son over another. A child should be instructed in the sacred books as soon as it is able to talk. A wife should be able to prepare flour and bake bread, cook food and brew, gather herbs, wash and mend clothes, keep her dwelling neat and clean. She should be able to make all things and do all things for the comfort of her husband, to suckle his children and work in linen, wool, pottery, basketry, and tapestry. If she brought one maidservant for her father's house, she should give her the least important of the task. But no matter how many maidservants accompanied her, she should never neglect the care and upbringing of her children, or be idle. There is an excuse for the poor woman whose children are willful and unruly, but none for the rich woman who has all the time to devote to them. They and her husband are her greatest obligations and her most important concern. The husband who permits his wife to be slothful or idle inclines her towards unfaithfulness. A man without a wife may not be man, but one with an unchaste wife certainly is not. SOF 565. It is decreed that a man shall not pledge his daughter in marriage while she is still young, but must wait until she can say yes or no to his choice. A worthless wife, or one who is lewd, a wife who displays herself immodestly before other men or is over wasteful, may be enslaved within her own household, but cannot be sold outside of it. A woman may become an inferior wife by decision of the judges. It is intended that the pledges of a marriage shall be maintained until death. SOF 566. It is decreed that if a man divorce his wife and she be of good character, he shall leave their dwelling or provide another suitable for her until she marry again. A man and wife shall not be intruded upon, and their enjoyment of each other shall be unhampered by any other. Every child is entitled to proper shelter, bed, food, upbringing, and instruction. If a child have no father or mother, or if they be proven worthless, the judges shall appoint a guardian for it. If an unmarried woman become with child, it shall be a disgrace upon her father, who shall be called before the judges. If she have no father, then her mother or her brothers, or the person having care of her. If a wife fear she cannot be trusted or remain faithful to her pledges, she shall not deceive her husband, but declare herself truly, and he shall decide whether to put her away or not. If he decide to keep her, and she prove unworthy, her punishment shall be lessened. The punishment of an unfaithful wife is not only for the deed, but for the deception. SOF 567. It is decreed that if a man divorce his wife, they shall not come together again without renewing the pledges of marriage, after they have the permission of the judges. If it be done, it shall not go unpunished. SOF 568. It is decreed that if a wife fear for herself at the hands of her husband, she may come before the judges who will decide for her welfare. Men should treat their wives with kindness and generosity. It is the duty of a wife to be faithful to her husband, to be modest in the presence of others, and to be prudent during her husband's absence. A wife must not only be faithful, but she must give her husband no cause to suspect her of unfaithfulness. A wife must never forget that marriage was ordained for the benefit and protection of women. Therefore, they have the greater obligation in upholding it. Wanton woman for fornicators, and good woman for good men. That is the rule. Thus shall the cause of mankind be advanced, and calamity kept from the heart. The upright man who walks in the paths of duty and obligation is allowed all things wholesome and healthy. He should marry only a chaste woman who would be a good mother to his children. He should live with her in cleanness of heart, and meet her without the stain of fornication. It is not wholly good to maintain a concubine, but an unchaste woman may be kept as one or lain with if a slave. SOF 569. It is decreed that before a man and woman come to judges seeking a divorcement, there shall have been a meeting between those of their blood. There shall be a man or woman of the wife's blood, and a man or woman of the husband's blood, who between them shall choose another not of their blood, to deliberate with them. Let them try to reach agreement and strive to heal the breach with goodwill. And if anyone have a grievance, it should not be hidden. SOF 570. It is decreed that before every marriage there shall be an announcement of betrothals in a public place. If anyone has something to say regarding the man or the woman not in their favor, he should declare it to the nearest of their blood and one who witnesses. If any man hide within his breast something that should be declared or speak about after the marriage, he shall not go unpunished. SOF 571. It is decreed that if a man say a betrothed woman is unchaste without proper cause, he shall be punished with 20 lashes, and if a woman do so, she shall be punished with 20 stripes. If a man know a betrothed woman to be unchaste and fail to make it known, he shall be punished with 40 lashes, and shall make repayment as the judges decide. If a woman, she shall receive 30 stripes. No marriage shall take place until 7 weeks after the betrothal. No fornication shall be committed during this time, for it would be a betrayal of marriage, and your soul bears witness to your deeds. SOF 572. It is decreed that when a man takes to himself a wife and is newly married, he shall not be called upon to take up weapons or to serve away from home for 1 year. If he is taken away, he must not be separated from his wife. A marriage is the union of flesh with flesh, and of spirit reaching out to spirit. It shall be witnessed by 2 men and 2 women, and declared before men by the man giving the woman a ring and bangle and a piece of silver, and by her giving him a lock of hair and a piece of woven cloth. SOF 573. It is decreed that all women who are not unchaste are women reserved for marriage. They shall be sought as wives with respectful conduct, and without fornication or deceit. A man who seduces them shall not go unpunished. It is not wrong for a man to make a proposal of marriage to a woman within the time she is denied to him. A promise of marriage shall not be made in secret, for such promises often cover shame and deceit. SOF 574. It is decreed that if a man accuse his wife of adultery or lewdness, and there be no other witness, he shall swear 3 times on his immortal soul that he speaks the truth. His word shall be accepted, for if he swear a falsehood, he has condemned himself, and his soul to most grievous punishment. But if the wife likewise swear 3 times that the word sworn to by the man were false, then it shall not before the judges to decide which has damned their soul. Both shall go their own ways, and if one speak to the other, that one shall not go unpunished. If they both speak, then both shall be punished. The judges shall receive reports on both, and if one of them cease to live a righteous life, that one shall be cast out. SOF 575. It is decreed that if a man divorce a woman who has done no grievous wrong, he shall support her in the household of one of her blood for 6 months. If the woman be with child, and she hide it from the father, she shall not go unpunished, neither shall they with whom she dwells. If she be found with child, then she shall be treated with kindness and consideration, and those of the child's blood may seek a reconciliation between its mother and father. Both must act fairly towards the other, and in righteousness and good faith. SOF 576. It is decreed that a wife may be divorced once and taken back, but if she be divorced again, she shall not be taken back. The things a man gives his wife during marriage remains hers. A woman who is divorced without committing any grievous wrong is to be treated kindly and generously by her husband. A woman shall not be divorced while carrying child or suckling it, unless it be the child of adultery. If a man be called to high office with the elect of the children of light, and his wife prefer earthly things to spiritual things, then they may agree to a just and fair divorce. Such a woman would be a burden, for her soul is heavy with darkness. SOF 577. It is decreed that if a man divorce his wife, he shall put no restraint upon her. She shall not take his hair with her, and if children go with her, their father shall sustain and clothe them. A true man makes fair provision. SOF 578. It is decreed that if a man seduce a maiden, he shall endow her with goods as though she were his wife, and bestow upon her all the benefits due to a wife. He shall do this even though her father keep her from him. SOF 579. It is decreed that if a man permit his wife to become a whore, he shall be declared unworthy of a wife, and shall not marry. His wife shall be removed from him, so that he has none, and he shall not go unpunished. If a man permit his daughter to become a whore, he shall die. SOF 580. It is decreed that as a woman may be taken in lust with her consent, if it be done, both man and woman shall bear the guilt alike, and neither be more deserving of punishment than the other. But if the woman be a child or an idiot, or she be protected by the judges, it shall be as though she was ravished without consent. When a woman is taken with force, it shall be punished with death. If the deed be done in the fields, or in places where women go away from the abodes of men, or in a forest or uncultivated place, or where no man can hear her cry, then it shall be taken by the judges that the deed was done without her consent, unless otherwise proven. But the woman shall explain her presence alone. If it be done in the city among habitations, and the woman made no call for help, and did not cry out, It shall be taken that she consented, unless threatened, with death or mutilation by a weapon. Where there has been no struggle, then it was with her consent, for no man can take a woman without her consent while she is conscious. SOF 581. It is decreed that if a man commit adultery with his son's wife or his wife's mother, both shall die by stoning. If a married woman commit adultery, both she and the man with whom she committed it shall die. A husband may ransom his wife, but if he does, he should be cast out from the people, lest he bring corruption upon them. When a woman is ransomed from adultery, he who shared the blame with her shall not die, but he shall not go unpunished. When judging the adulterer or adulteress, the whore and the whoremonger, deal with them strictly and without compassion, for they are the enemies of love. They place man back among the beasts. A fornicator should not marry a chaste woman, but it is not forbidden. A whore shall not marry among the children of light. The sins of whoredom are not unforgivable, and those who truly show repentance over many years may be accepted back into the children of light. A woman who becomes a whore to feed a starving child has committed no great wrong. The wrongdoing is by the people. SOF 582. It is decreed that no man shall permit a female slave to engage in fornication, and it is his duty to keep her modest and free from lewdness. If after marriage slaves commit adultery, they shall not be punished to the extent of a free person, for they have been brought up as slaves. Though the punishment of a slave be less, the master may be punished if the slave warranted punishment because of his neglect. SOF 583. It is decreed that a man shall not be guilty of adultery except with a married woman. If a woman have 3 witnesses against her for whoring, or she does not deny it, she shall be shut up in a place alone, where no man can come at her. There she shall weave or work for her sustenance, and if any man come to lie with her, he shall be punished if the judge's decree and a man be found willing to take her with obligations for her keeping, she may be enslaved to him. If a whore run away from her place of confinement or from her master, she shall die. SOF 584. It is decreed that if a man have a woman slave who is a maiden and the intended wife of a freeman, he shall not lie with her. If a man lie with a slave and she become with child, he shall not sell her or cease to support her. If a woman slave marry the slave of another master, then her master shall not restrain her unduly, but he shall meet with the master of her husband, and make an arrangement concerning her that is fair and just. SOF 585. It is decreed that the punishment for whoring shall not be upward of 2 years. If a woman be accused of fornication, and 3 bear witness against her, she shall be treated as a whore. A maiden cannot be guilty of whoring after a man. SOF 586. It is decreed that the children of light shall not deny their servants or their slaves, or the ignorant among them, their own gods, for they have no better light, even as the dim glow of an ember comforts a child in darkness, so are they comforted. The gods of Taloth, Yol, Yoala, Bel, Bahalim, Elim, and all the lesser gods of light may have a shrine in the city and lands about it, to serve those who would be blinded by a greater light. Better the glow from rotted wood than no light at all. Najel, Madu, Ilani, Nephilim, and the gods of darkness shall not be permitted to the servants, and to the slaves, and to the ignorant. But the stranger shall not be denied his God, for the children of light are not denied their light, and dwell in peace among strangers. SOF 587. It is decreed that if the tongue of the stranger stray to lewdness in the presence of women, or he cast lustful looks upon them, he shall be spoken to and warned. If the warnings is not heeded, he shall be dismissed, so that the women be established in their goodness, and be honored among men. In the lands of strangers, where deceit is considered a virtue and vanity, a womanly charm, there is no understanding of women who are modest and restrained. Men treat women as they find them. Therefore, women should restrain their glances and conduct themselves with modesty. They should not display too much of their body or reveal clothes that are not overgarments. They should not reveal the nakedness of their bosoms. It shall not be wrong for women to uncover before women or before young children who will grow to be men, but have not reached the age of full talking. SOF 588. It is decreed that if a wife be guilty of lewdness before the eyes of men, or provoke them to lust after her, she shall not go unpunished by her husband, and can lose her rights of inheritance. If any man complain to the judges about her, then her husband shall be called before them to account for her. If a maiden be proven guilty of lewdness, then her father or guardian shall not go unpunished. If a man be so punished, he shall not revenge himself on the maiden or her mother, for the fault is not theirs alone, and he must bear his burden manfully. It is well to deal with daughters kindly, so that they are not estranged. In chastising a daughter for something bad in her, do not overlook the good. If the wife of a man in a high position be guilty of any lewdness or other unwomanly thing, her punishment shall be doubled, for she is unworthy of her trust. SOF 589. It is decreed that if a man slander a woman who is virtuous, but careless, he shall come before judges to swear to the truth of his words. If he decline, or his words be proven against him, he shall not go unpunished. If the man swear, then the woman shall be brought before the judges to swear likewise, that his words are false, and if she decline, his words are established. If both swear, they shall go out, but one soul has condemned itself to punishment. SOF 590. It is decreed that when a woman is beyond the age of childbearing, it shall not be wrong if she lay aside the garments of modesty, providing she does not degrade modesty, or is unmarried. It shall not be done so that she displays some part of her body not commonly displayed by women. Neither shall she display any ugliness, but what she does shall be done with decorum and grace. No woman slave shall be made to do any deed of lewdness, and her modesty shall be honored. If she be forced into lewdness or immodesty, she shall bear no sin. But he who forced her shall not go unpunished. Lewd talk about women and foul speech shall not go unpunished. SOF 591. It is decreed that the fat of a beast that has died of itself or been torn by another beast may be used, providing it is not eaten or placed upon the body in any way. The flesh may be given to another beast to eat, but if any part of it is given to a man without him knowing its nature, he who gave it shall not go unpunished. No man shall eat the flesh of the falcon, the vulture, the eagle, the crow, the raven, the ibis, the owl, the hawk, the pelican, or of any bird that wades in water and has legs greater than the height of its body. These creeping things shall not be eaten. The beetle, the snail, the ant, the slug, the grasshopper, all manner of lice, and all creeping things less in size than a finger joint, and everything that creeps upon the ground without legs. The cat, the dog, the mouse, the mole, the weasel, and the fox shall not be eaten. To overeat is as harmful as to starve. To fast is not an empty deed, and is healthful for both spirit and body. It teaches discipline and self-control, as well as moderation and frugality. Food is never lacking in the places where justice holds sway. Consume food slowly and with content, for a restless stomach robs it of taste and goodness. The man who overeats is worse than the beast who knows no better. If any man pollute food, he shall not go unpunished. SOF 592. It is decreed that if a man steal water from the land of another, or cause it to run away, or if he pollute it, he shall not go unpunished. If there be loss, then he shall make threefold restitution. Water in which there is a carcass shall not be used to drink. A man may drink wine or beer or anything that is not unwholesome, providing he maintains his self-control and decency, but no longer. He who causes strife or harm to another because of something he has put into his mouth shall not go unpunished. Wine taken in moderation is not wrong, unless it lead the hand to wickedness. No fruit-bearing tree shall be cut down until it ceases to bear or dies. SOF 593. It is decreed that no man shall leave a dead beast undealt with. If he do so, he shall not go unpunished. For if it be not eaten or used, it must be buried. If a man place anything that is foul into a storage pit, or among stored corn, he shall make fourfold restitution, and shall not go unpunished. SOF 594. It is decreed that no man shall cut his flesh for adornment, or make any mark upon it which cannot be removed. Though the ears of men and women may be pierced, circumcision, such as the strangers practice, is mutilation, and is forbidden. SOF 595. It is decreed that no man shall engage in usury, but shall deal with men in fairness and moderation. Payments and punishment shall be decided by the judges. SOF 596. It is decreed that no man shall associate with another who deals with spells, or calls up the spirits of the dead. If he do, he shall not go unpunished, and those who practice sorcery shall be cast out. SOF 597. It is decreed that no man shall cheat in weight or measure, and he who does shall make threefold restitution, and not go unpunished. No man shall take advantage of the misfortune of another of his own blood, and shall not buy their house, their field, their beast, or anything without life to his own advantage. No man shall lend upon interest to another of his own blood or to a friend, for this is the cause of much strife. SOF 598. It is decreed that if a man remove a beast or a fowl or a fish from a trap laid by another, he is stealing. If a man is collecting fruit from the top of a tree, it is stealing to take whatever falls to the ground. If a man borrows something and sell it, or sells something in his keeping belonging to another, it is stealing. If a man do any of these things, he shall make restitution as though he had stolen them. SOF 599. It is decreed that if a man receive a beast or anything with life or without life from another, and the two do not have proper witnesses, whether it be sold or given, the two shall be punished by making payment, as the judges decide. SOF 5100. It is decreed that no man shall cut the living flesh from any beast, or remove a limb or a piece of hide while it lives, and if he do, he shall not go unpunished. The law of life demands that men eat, and that beasts be slain for food, but this should be done with least pain and distress to the beasts. No beast should be tormented for the enjoyment of its suffering, and it shall not be confined with cruelty, and he who does so shall not go unpunished. A beast and its young shall not be slain within sight of each other, or where the blood of the other can be smelled. No man should partake of food or drink, while beasts in his charge go unprovided and uncared for. SOF 5101. It is decreed that if a man carry weapons without the right to do so, he shall be punished with 30 lashes. If another be hurt so that blood is drawn unjustly, restitution shall be made for any loss, and payment made according to the decree of the judges. If a man who carries weapons without the right wound another grievously, he shall die. It is cowardly to slay a man who has cast down his weapons in surrender, or to slay a woman or child. It is cowardly to torture a man who is helpless in your power, or a bound captive. These things are unworthy. Treat a captive with firmness and dignity. When in battle, raise your thoughts above the spoil. Look to heaven for your reward. Peace is the proper course for all men to follow, but peace at any price is a delusion. Therefore, it may better become a man of peace to stir up the righteous to fight. 10 courageous men can overcome 100 of lesser courage. Prepare for war with peace in your heart and with regret, but for the sake of the cause, press forward resolutely. Be at peace within yourself through gain or loss, advance or retreat, victory or defeat. The peaceful man who shouts peace at any price does not prevent war. He only steps aside to put another to the fore who will slay and be slain. That is contemptible and worse than if he had stood his own ground. SOF 5102. It is decreed that if a man or woman be bound to another for a debt or payment, they shall be fed, clothed, and given shelter. They shall not be beaten or ill-treated, but they should do a full day's work. Their welfare should be in the hands of the judges. SOF 5103. It is decreed that if two men enter upon the same wrongdoing together, or one against the other, both shall be punished alike, except if one be in the power of the other. SOF 5104. It is decreed that games of chance played for money shall be undertaken only in moderation, and if any man cheat or weigh the game unfairly, he shall not go unpunished. SOF 5105. It is decreed that no man or woman who is of the children of light shall marry another who is not, for this is wrong against their children, whose upbringing is divided against itself. A slave woman who believes as her master is better for a mate than a free woman who does not, even though the free woman be more pleasing. No man shall permit his maiden daughter to marry a man who is not of the children of light. A slave who is righteous and walks in the light would be better even though he be unacceptable to her father. SOF 5106. It is decreed that if a man withhold from an orphan or anyone under his care that which is theirs, if it be done without cause or to his benefit, he shall not go unpunished, and shall also make twofold restitution. He shall not deny them the right to marry, or if it be a man, the right to his own livelihood. If a man or woman of a man's own blood be in his care, because they are an idiot or incapable, then let not the burden of responsibility for their own sustenance fall upon them. Keep them from harm, support them with food, and maintain them in clothes. The man who is rich and powerful has a duty to protect the destitute and ailing women from the afflictions of life and from the wiles of men. SOF 5107. It is decreed that if any man or woman die, those who stand next to them in blood shall be responsible for the disposal of the body. Those who declare the need to burn the body, so that the departed one may use its essence in heaven, indulge in a vain superstition. SOF 5108. It is decreed that if anyone seek refuge within the sanctuary of the temple, it shall not be denied them, and if any violate this sanctuary, they shall not go unpunished. The labors of the sanctuary shall not be diminished. SOF 5109. It is decreed that the measure within a lagois shall be equal to the water, which can be contained in 12 blown eggs of the ground fowl. The weight of a silver shekel shall be the same as barleycorns numbered according to the days in the year. The length of a cubit shall be the same as 48 barleycorns. From these all things shall be weighed and measured. SOF 5110. It is decreed that a man may be declared to be outside the law, and then, though he be liable to all restrictions and penalties which it imposes, he can enjoy none of its benefits or its protection. If a man be declared fully beyond the law, no other shall speak to him or supply him with food or clothing or shelter. If a man be declared an outlaw, he is to be slain on sight. If exiled, he is to be slain if he return from his place of exile. SOF 5111. It is decreed that no man shall make an image of any god or make anything in the likeness of a god, but all objects of beauty can be made. Anything can be made bearing the likeness or image of a man, woman, or beast, providing it be done with good taste and without obscenity. SOF 5112. It is decreed that if anyone attempt to slay another with poison, they shall die, even though they have not succeeded. All who aid them in the deed or seek to hide it shall also die. SOF 5113. It is decreed that if anyone take their own life, they shall not be buried or burnt for 3 days. SOF 5114. It is decreed that if a man die having no son or daughter, and no one of his own blood who can claim a son or daughter born to his wife after remarriage may become his heir. SOF 5:115. Justice and truth are not in the safekeeping of the judges. They are to those who sit in judgment, as the sun is to other men. Every man who comes before the judges should walk in the light of truth and justice, even though he speak against himself or against those of his own blood. The man who bears witness should take no heed, whether he be on the side of the rich or the poor. He should not follow the road of passion or the paths of his own prejudices, lest he lose the guiding light of truth. The man who hides within himself knowledge that would assist the cause of justice and truth inflicts an injustice upon his own soul. SOF 5:116. A too hasty decision by the judges often inclines towards injustice. Therefore, when the judges have heard all, and every word has been spoken by those who have a right to speak, the judges shall retire and pray. Each should say within his heart, I will consider my words carefully before I speak, and they will be uttered in the purity of truth, untainted by falsity or hypocrisy. I will not be harsh in my judgment, and it will be bent towards a benefit rather than a loss. My speech will be directed towards the safeguarding of others, and be without any taint of malice or evil intent.